This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. There's no need to panic, Browns fans. There is no need to panic. Crisis averted. What do I mean by crisis averted? Whoo, boy, we left that Denver game feeling real bad. And I mentioned in my video breakdown that the reason we felt really bad about that Denver game wasn't necessarily because you lost it. It was because you were so worried about what you could have lost in the long term for the rest of the season. Crisis averted. The reason I say that is so we were really worried about the outcome for the rest of the season. If these injuries were more serious than we thought, or not more serious than we thought. A lot of us thought that these injuries would be very, very serious. Fortunately for the Browns, I can say that the reports are that they weren't. So that is exceedingly great news. The reports are that the injuries weren't that bad for Amari Cooper and that they weren't that bad for Myles Garrett. Now, take it with a grain of salt at this current moment because we gotten reports that have been a little shaky about this all year when it comes to injuries and the Browns. But right now, what we're hearing is that the injuries aren't serious, which means they might miss a game, if anything, and they'll be day-to-day. And that's what we're hearing on day-to-day for Myles Garrett. So let's start with Myles Garrett because that's the one we was most concerned about. We know he had that MRI today. We were worried about it because we saw him in that sling. Cam Justice has here from the press conference is that Kevin Stefanski said that Myles Garrett shoulder scans showed no structural damage. As long as he can play through the soreness, he'll be good to go for the game. Now, somebody here, I think he's this guy right here, brings up a good point. What sounds like good news, I seem to recall a similar message about Deshaun. The key thing to remember there is it could be the same injury as Deshaun Watson. It would literally not matter, because his job is not the same as Deshaun Watson. And that's why I wanted to make that a point at the end of the video. Like, I thought a lot of people were being very pessimistic about the chances of these injuries not being too serious. And the reason I wanted to be about that, especially when it comes to Myles, is one, Myles has played through pain his whole career. He's played through some type of injury. He played through a car accident. He's played through a ton. He's been playing through pain since that car accident, right? He's been wearing that shoulder wrap for a while. If it's just pain, he knows he can deal with it. It is what it is. Hopefully the soreness goes down. The other injury that we were worried about is Amari Cooper. It is said that Amari Cooper's injuries are not to be serious, right? Amari's ribs expected to be okay. Now he must find rhythm with DTR is the report from Mary Kay. Kevin Stefanski says, I think he'll be okay working through the week. So it's not expected that Amari Cooper is going to have issues getting back on the field this week. And I think they kind of expect Myles Garrett to play this week. And the reason this is different is that they don't play quarterback, right? When they were expecting it with Deshaun, it's a different beast. The pain isn't the only thing that matters when you play quarterback, because you play a position that requires you to throw a football with fine precision. And if everything ain't working here or here, whichever shoulder you're dominant, then that it don't matter if you could play through the pain. You can't do the job. So that was the nature of Deshaun's injury. He's a quarterback. It's different. It's not about pain. For the other players, it's about how much you can play through. If Amari's ribs aren't broken, it might not be the most comfortable thing for Amari, but he's going to play through it. He's played through it his whole career. The same thing with Myles Garrett. If that shoulder ain't falling off, as long as he can do something with it, he's going to play with it. We've seen him literally play with that shoulder hurt like that last year where he couldn't even lift it. And then 2 weeks later, he was back fine. And I expect once the swelling goes down on that shoulder for Myles Garrett to be fine. Now let's talk about the more pressing injury, which we don't have an update on, which is DTR. He's in the concussion protocol. There have been guys who have cleared it before. I think Denzel Ward cleared it. I think Anthony Walker cleared it in a week. I think even Brock Purdy cleared it in a week. And Kenny Pickett cleared concussion protocol in a week. I think Kenny Pickett even did it on a short week. So it can be cleared. We'll see what happens. But while we wait to see what happens at quarterback, I think it's important to understand. I do believe the Browns have dodged a bullet. And while the Browns have had misfortune with injuries, they've also dodged some bullets this year. Like, next man up is the motto of this team, and it's a good thing because you've dodged or mitigated the damage of so many bullets that could have been fatal for this team so far. What do I mean by this? Jack Conklin goes out. You fill the Jack Conklin hole with DeJuan Jones. Bullet dodged. You don't even miss Jack Conklin. He's a great player, but you don't even miss him at this point. You're going to ride with DeJuan for now on. Like, I don't imagine Jack getting that job back. So you dodged the bullet. Great player development. You got somebody underneath him. You get an injury with Denzel. For the most part, I felt like Greg Newsom's been able to fill in. I thought, he had a rough performance last week, but I don't think that was really on him as much as it was on the defensive line just refusing to get pressure on Russ. And I talked about that in my video. But you had Cam Mitchell step in, and then Mike Ford's played well. You've had some players step up and mitigate some damage and dodge some bullets. Deshaun Watson goes down. Well, not Deshaun Watson. We're not there yet. Let's go to Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb goes down. I don't think people understand how much of a bullet you dodged because Nick Chubb goes down, but the run game didn't go down with it. They're still similarly productive. Obviously, they'd be better with Nick Chubb. There's no doubt about that. But they're similarly productive. Bullet dodged. You don't not miss Nick Chubb, but you ain't dead because Nick Chubb was hurt. Deshaun Watson goes down. And guess what? DTR steps in. And you start to see why a lot of people were excited about DTR. Now, I don't usually recommend people watching highlights. If you can get your hands on full games, go get them. But UCLA played on Fox. There's not really a great place to watch games that were aired on Fox, especially college football games. So there's not a lot of places to go to get full games of UCLA. But what I am saying is get your hands on that UCLA Dorian Thompson-Robinson footage. And then come back to this comment section and tell me what you think. If you have not done that, get your hands on that. I might leave a link in the description. I'm going to leave a link in the description. That's what I'm going to do. Click that link in the description. Remind me in the comments if I forget to do this, I'll get it to you. Leave a link. I'm going to leave a link in the description. You're going to click on that video. You're going to watch 12 minutes of these DTR highlights and tell me if you think that's a regular 5th round pick. If you think that's a regular backup quarterback. We saw some of the throws he made in that Denver game. Hell, even in the Pittsburgh game, he made some throws. Tell me you think that's a regular backup. Now, I'm not trying to start a quarterback controversy here, but I'm saying it could be so much worse than playing DTR. There are people whose starting situation, I believe, is worse than playing DTR. We'll see how time goes with this. Maybe this is a take that'll age like milk. Maybe it's not. But I think the Browns dodged the bullet. So yes, you've been fortunate with injuries. Well, unfortunate with injuries. You've been fortunate with replacements. But Amari Cooper going down, you ain't got no bullet to dodge that. That's not a bullet you could dodge. It's good that he's not hurt. Myles Garrett going down, ain't no replacement. Ain't no replacement for Myles Garrett going down. And we know from the past, if Myles Garrett can get out there, he'll find a way to be effective. It might take him a week or two to get back where he needs to. He might have to wear a brace or something like that. But he's eventually going to get there. He's eventually going to be really productive. He's going to be Myles Garrett. He's done this. We've seen it before. Same thing with Amari Cooper. Hurt last year, needed sports hernia surgery, found a way to put it together, was really excellent in the end of the season. I expect the same thing from Myles Garrett and Coop. We know that they do this. They're warriors. But I think as important as Amari Cooper coming back, as important as Myles Garrett coming back, it's important that DTR comes back. Because I think that the coaching staff believes in him as a capable quarterback. I think that this team believes in him as a capable quarterback. One of the things that's not going to leave my mind anytime soon is that you were able to go from Deshaun Watson out for the year and transition to DTR. And it felt like the locker room didn't miss a step. It felt like nobody felt deflated because they lost the starting quarterback. Not because they don't think Deshaun was good, but because they might have a positive opinion about DTR, right? I think they thought it sucked that Deshaun was out. Obviously, things are easier. He's a veteran quarterback. But if we got to go to DTR, they didn't feel like that was a bad option. You could tell by how they came out against the Steelers. Things start going well. The Browns start doing that Browns thing that they've done all year, where they're starting to chip away at that lead. DTR takes a massive hit that he shouldn't have. And he goes out, PJ Walker comes in, and the whole vibe for this team changed. I think DTR is a little bit more important than we think. I think that they have more plans for him than we think, or than I thought. And I think there's more potential in him than I think people are assuming right now. No, I'm not going to get crazy with it, say he's going to be a Pro Bowler or anything like that. But I think for the situation you're in, he's more than enough. I think he's a really good game manager. He's able to make quick, smart decisions. He doesn't put the ball in danger, which is rare for a young quarterback. He's accurate, insanely accurate. Like, think about how much yak yardage we've gotten in the last few weeks versus what we've had all season. How much the offense seems to be in motion more than it was before. There's something to this DTR kid. You watch him again, go watch the link in the description. You'll start to see, hey, man, this ain't just stuff he just doing out the blue in the NFL. It was there in college. And he's a plus athlete, like a spectacular athlete. I think he's more than enough if he can be out there. But we need DTR to clear that protocol. I think that's really important. Not saying that Amari Cooper and Myles Garrett coming back is not important. That's obviously important. But I think even more important than that is that you got to have stability at the quarterback position, whatever you can muster. And I think the rookie's the kid to do it. I think he's the guy to do it for now. You know, got all the respect in the world for what Joe Flacco's done in the NFL. But if you look at the talent that kid has, the ball placement that he was able to achieve, some of the stuff he was able to do in that Denver game, some of the stuff it looked like he was going to do, that's the kid that needs to be out there. But that's just my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Y'all have a great day. Have a better night. Peace.